Welcome to the Existential Empath Podcast. My name is Tanya and I am an intuitive empath. My intention is to share valuable tips, tools, and techniques that I have learned so you can tap into your own inner healer naturally and intuitively. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Tanya and I help people tap into their inner healer naturally and intuitively. I wanted to talk a little bit today about the importance of traveling. I didn't really start traveling the world until in my late 30s. I mean, my parents had taken us on vacations at a very young age. It was something that we look forward to every year, and we would go to the beach or somewhere that was warm because we lived in a cold environment. But I never really made traveling a part of my life until I actually started to go through the healing process. And when I started to go through my own healing spiritual journey is when I really realized that traveling is what actually woke me up to new experiences, seeing new cultures, new perspectives on life. And it actually woke me up because I was in a trance. I was in a trance. I was working in a job that was taking every amount of energy away from me. It was exhausting me, and I was going to work every single day unfulfilled, and I was coming home tired and angry and just absolutely exhausted. So in my late 30s, I started planning these trips, and I started to go around the world. Every single year, I would save up my tax return, and I would put it into my travel savings, and I would begin to travel once a year to a place I had never been to before. So this started out into Europe, and then up into Norway and that area, and then down into Turkey and the Mediterranean. And every single year I would expand. I would expand my awareness, my consciousness, my perspective on life. And then I would come back to my job where I felt very tired and very drained and exhausted, and I would get very emotional. Because what happens when you begin to travel is you expand your awareness, you expand your consciousness, and your soul begins to expand. And when you come back to reality, you come back to the reality that you have created as your life, you put that soul back into a box. And every single time I would come home, I would get really sad. I would get really depressed because that wasn't the life that I wanted to live. And at the time, I didn't really realize that that was the way that my soul was speaking to me. It was telling me that I needed to learn the lesson that I needed to learn at that particular job, at that particular point in my life, and then I needed to expand on that. I needed to get out into the world and see more, right? Because our life isn't meant to be trapped in this cage of what we've created as our reality. We are multidimensional where we can create our own reality. We just have to believe that we can, and we have to shift our thoughts towards that so we can actually make it possible. And for me, I was living in Florida at the time, and I will say, when you travel, do other things. And I'm not against Disney at all, but I was astonished at the amount of people that would save up their life savings just to take their family to Disney. And for me, after having traveled around the world a little bit and seen some of what the world has to offer, Disney offers an artificial culture, an artificial reality, and that's really what we live in this day and age is a lot of artificial energy, a lot of artificial reality. And so if you can really save up that money to take your family on a trip, go somewhere around the world and go experience their food, their culture, their way of life. It will absolutely change you. It'll change your family, and it'll bring you back in alignment with your soul, an alignment with yourself. And you might even be surprised that when you find yourself being in alignment with your soul, you may start to want to shed some of those things that you have created in your reality that you have made a priority. You may not want to do those things anymore. You may want to not live, that lavish lifestyle that us, especially in America, that we are used to living or trying to keep up with the Joneses. And you may just decide that you want to take a step back and minimalize a little bit so that you can go on these trips and make some of these things happen in your life that are more cultivating and help your soul flourish and to really blossom into who you are. And for me, I was really unhappy. I had lived in Florida for 20 years, and Florida is a very large vacation destination. And for me, it really pulled me there in my early 20s. I really liked it. I liked that beach scene. But as I got older, I really liked the mountains, and I was being drawn and pulled to the mountains. So I kind of just picked up and decided that, this life and this scene wasn't for me, and I moved across the country to have never been happier. And I feel like every single day I wake up, I get to go and explore. I get to go and experience. It's like a vacation every single day for me. And it's something that I have decided that I wanted to create in my life. I know that it can be difficult. People will say, well, I have kids and I have all these responsibilities and all these obligations. And quite honestly, I had all those responsibilities and obligations too, but I began to reprioritize what was important to me in my life. And my state of health, my happiness, my alignment with my soul's purpose were all high priorities, but I wasn't making them high priorities. And I was suffering as a result. I was in a lot of physical pain, a lot of emotional pain. I just didn't feel like myself. So get out there, travel, do things, get your family out there. I think, you guys will really enjoy it going on these trips. And I saw this commercial on, it was Hulu or something, and it was for Idaho. And it talked about Idaho 18 and the 18 years that you have with your children, that you can make memories and you can go out and you can travel and you can explore. And to be honest with you, the 18 years that I had with my family and going out and traveling and seeing the places that we got to see, whether it be camping or going, to the beach or whatnot, were some of the most memorable times in my life. So get out there. Put the money aside. You can do it. You can find little ways, maybe have one less Starbucks a week or a day or whatever, and start saving that money, because your soul will truly love you for it, and your family will absolutely flourish too. You deserve to navigate your life in alignment with health, happiness, and abundance. To learn more about the services that I provide, including Beyond Quantum Healing Hypnosis, EFT tapping, and the Emotion Code, visit my website at www.theexistentialempath.com.